The spiritual path begins when you finally realize that getting what you want is not going to make you happy. Because you realize that happiness is in the mind. Happiness is a state of being. It's a state of consciousness. And happiness is not some materialistic object or experience. Happiness is not a vacation to Punta Cana, or it's not a really tasty curry chicken meal. I love curry chicken. Happiness is a state of being in the moment. And you can reach it right now, in this very moment. This moment is perfect, exactly as it is. But you haven't trained your mind to realize the perfection in every single moment. So what you're left doing all the time is chasing after future moments, or remembering past moments and wishing that they were here now. So you're always chasing after some food to eat, or some really entertaining video to watch, or you're chasing after some party to go to, or a joint to smoke, or a shot to drink. Because then, after you smoke that joint, then you'll be happy. Because you fundamentally believe that right now isn't good enough. That's why many spiritual paths ask you to practice gratitude. Gratitude for this exact moment, in the exact way that it's being right now. It's so beautiful. Every single second. Look at this leaf. Look how beautiful this leaf is. Oh my God. Every single vein in this leaf is absolutely gorgeous. Wow. This whole forest is amazing. It's perfect. I wouldn't want it to be any other way. Then, once you learn how to be grateful for this moment, you can tap into that energy of love and acceptance, and you're putting yourself in a higher vibration state. And you're tapping into the happiness that is always present in every single moment, but you aren't in vibrational resonance with it all the time. So happiness is, I'm going to define it as a feeling of acceptance of this moment. That's why when you're eating a really tasty meal, you feel happy because you have nothing to resist in that moment. It's so tasty, the food, it's titillating your taste buds, you love it so much. Or when you're having sex, it feels absolutely amazing. There's just sensations of pleasure running all throughout your body, and then you can relax and fully appreciate the moment. But true happiness comes when you can recognize the amazing awesomeness of every single moment. Even if you're in a padded room, in a straitjacket, and you have absolutely no sensory stimulation at all, even in that moment, you can recognize the profundity and amazingness of being and existence. You're sitting there in that room in your straitjacket, and you really want to eat, some dates or some nuts, and your body is craving this junk food. Well, that's not junk food, but most people crave junk food. I crave dates and nuts. But you're sitting there in your straitjacket, and if you can meditate and raise your vibration by accepting this moment exactly as it is, you'll reach a higher state of consciousness where you're sitting there and you're absolutely amazed at just the pure fact of existence. Why am I even here? Why does existence even exist? Just the pure beauty of awareness, being able to observe the moment. Just the fact that this moment exists is a miracle. It's magical. It's absolutely mind-blowing. It makes no logical sense at all. There's no reason why you should even exist. And we forget the magic of every single moment because we have negative mental habits and negative mental tendencies that cause us to stay trapped in lower vibrations where we're only interested in the monotony of our daily life. We're only interested in our habits and our routine and going to work and fulfilling tasks and waiting until you can come home so you can finally relax and watch some TV and eat some food, maybe jack off to some porn. That's what you're craving all the time when you're in a lower consciousness state, because in that state, you have forgotten how beautiful and amazing and full each present moment is. You don't need food to be titillating your taste buds, and you don't need videos to be entertaining you for you to be able to tap into that feeling of happiness and acceptance of the present moment. So that's why the spiritual path begins when you realize that all of the sensations of pleasure that you're always chasing after in every single moment are not making you happy. They are temporarily, but then you overindulge, you eat too much food, you watch too many videos, you watch too much porn, smoke too much weed, and then you're sitting there and you don't feel good anymore. You feel bad, you feel yucky, you feel guilty and shameful and sad. That's because you're residing in lower consciousness. You're forgetting that this moment is full and complete exactly the way that it is. And your job when you're practicing meditation every single day is to fully accept the state of this moment exactly as it is. So if you got an itch on your hip like I do now, you can accept it exactly as it is. If your back hurts, you accept it. If you're bored, you accept it. If you want to stop watching this video, you accept it. If you want to go do some other things that's not meditating, you accept that too. Everything you accept. Just for 20 minutes a day. Just for 30 minutes a day. Then the rest of the day you can go about being unconscious and going to work and chasing after materialistic pleasures all the time in this cycle, this gerbil wheel that you're in. You can keep doing that. But for 30 minutes a day, you're going to remind yourself that this moment is perfect exactly as it is. And that process of meditation is not going to be fun. You're not going to like it. It's going to be the opposite of what you want to do because it's really, really hard. It's like going to the gym. When you're doing bench press at the gym, it's physically straining. It's difficult. It hurts. And then the next day you're sore. But you get stronger. You're training yourself through resistance. In the same way, when you're practicing meditation, you're training your acceptance muscles. You're training yourself to accept this moment. The most enlightened masters and the happiest people are not Elon Musk or Bill Gates, the people who have billions of dollars and can go on vacations and have beautiful women around them all the time, or are always eating the tastiest meals. These are not the happiest people in the world. The happiest people in the world are the Zen, well, not the Zen monks, but the Enlightened Masters. The Enlightened Masters can sit in a room for 23 hours a day, with no stimulation at all, staring at the wall, and just reside in a state of bliss and acceptance and awe and tranquility for the entire time. Because they have trained their mind so well that when the mind wanders to some craving, they bring it back to the moment. And they have done that, these old enlightened masters, these 50-year-old yogis that live in the mountains and can levitate because they're so in tune with their bodily energy that they have spiritual powers and they can move objects with their hands. These people exist. You obviously think they don't exist because you just assumed they don't exist. It's just an assumption. You didn't actually do any investigation and study these cases to see yogis levitating and these other examples of spiritual powers. These are available to people who have mastered their mind and who can reside at the highest states of consciousness in every waking moment. That is the goal of your life. That's why you came to Earth. It's not an external journey of acquiring things. Your journey here on Earth is an internal journey of self-purification and purifying your mind of all of these wants. Because when you're wanting anything, notice you are in a state of non-acceptance of the present moment. Anything, when you're wanting anything, you are in a state of non-acceptance. And as long as you are wanting this moment to be different, you will never be happy, ever. If you think right now that what you want is $1 million and the nicest clothes and the most beautiful vacations, you might be right, you might enjoy those things. But once you make that $1 million, you're gonna have $1 million in your bank account and then you can move to Hawaii and sit on the beach with the palm trees. You're sipping your pina colada on the beach with your beautiful wife or husband, but you haven't taken any time to train your mind. So you're still worried, you're still agitated, you still want other things, you're still craving stuff. So even though you've rearranged your external circumstances and maybe you've moved out of your house and went to Hawaii, your external circumstances have been rearranged, but your internal circumstances have stayed exactly the same. And in that case, you're like a hamster in a wheel. You're chasing that carrot. You're running after the carrot, you're chasing it, but you haven't taken any time to get off of the wheel, sit down, and observe the wheel, and realize, oh, I'm in a wheel. I'm always chasing after external things. That's why this daily meditation practice is so important. I like to think of the spiritual path, and I like to split it up in two ways: theory and practice. Both are very, very important, and it's very, very difficult to have one without the other. So if you're liking what I'm saying in this video, and you're interested in, and you're on board, and you're, yeah, Adam, let's purify our minds, and let's self-actualize, and let's become the best versions of ourselves, and let's go to the mountains and levitate. If you're on board with this, I applaud you. It's beautiful. And this is the purpose of life. Now here are the practical steps for you to actually begin implementing what I'm saying. The first step is meditate every single day. This is the practice. 20 to 30 minutes every single day. meditate. Sit down, focus on your breath, or not. Close your eyes, or not. Cross your legs, or not. Doesn't really matter. You sit down, set your timer for 30 minutes, and meditate. Or not. You choose. So that's the practice element. Meditation is only one spiritual practice. There are hundreds of practices like psychedelics, yoga, energy work, breathing exercises, shadow work, journaling. There are so many exercises that I can't go into in this video. But that's where the theory comes in, the second part of the spiritual journey. Take on the process of the proactive process of studying and exploring all of the spiritual paths and techniques that are available to you and that have been discovered and honed for thousands of years. It's so interesting. I shouldn't have to force you to go and read about the yogis who live in the mountains in the Himalayas and purify their body through Kriya Yoga and can teleport and see the future and have objects materialize in their hand, like in the autobiography of a yogi. All of these things are possible, and they're so interesting to learn about. The only thing that's required is for you to be open-minded and to have flexible boundaries of what you think is true. Because you don't know what the fuck is true. You don't know what's true. You were born into this world as a baby, not even being able to feed yourself, knowing nothing, not one thing. Then your parents tell you stuff, your teachers tell you stuff. I want you to go back to that place of being a baby, knowing nothing. You don't know anything. You don't know what's true. Do you trust the news to tell you what's true? Where are you getting your information of truth from? Instagram? Your friends? Your university professor? Your parents? Do you think they know what's true? Where are they getting their information from? So my point here is that open your mind to the possibility that reality is not as simple as it seems. Science has not figured out all of reality yet. But certain people have, the mystics. You can find them in the spirituality section of your local bookstore. And they'll tell you some really profound things that you might not want to hear. But as you study their perspectives and you do their practices and you find out which practices work well for you and you actively motivate yourself every single day by reading and listening to audios every single day so you don't forget. That's why in the Muslim tradition, they pray 5 times a day. Now, I'm not saying that every single Muslim is an enlightened master, but the core of the Islam tradition is based on enlightenment and spirituality teachings, the purest teachings, the core of the religion. The details of it have gotten corrupted over thousands of years. But they pray 5 times a day so that they don't forget. Because what you will love to do is turn this video off and go about your routines in your life and forget everything that I just said. That's why every single day you're reminding yourself by reading these books and doing these practices and motivating yourself and inspiring yourself. And then in a couple of years, you'll start to see benefits and results. You're going to start to feel calm where you would otherwise feel angry. You're going to start to feel love where you would otherwise feel hate. Because you're raising your vibration. You're raising and expanding your consciousness, which is what I love to do and which is what I'm doing. And I'm just sharing it. I'm sharing it to you and you can feel it. And I'm going to keep doing this for the rest of my life, for eternity. There's no stop, there's no end. Constant self-mastery. Thank you so much for listening to this video. I hope that I've inspired you and motivated you to embark on the spiritual path. I did it 3-4 years ago, and there's absolutely no way that I would ever regret that decision. Thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing day.